the LSU win over Clemson. I just saw a stat on ESPN that Trevor Lawrence had 13 overthrows last night.
Yeah.
That's a lot of overthrows.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
Oh, when I've seen him in the past, like I don't watch college football like you do.
He had two really nice drives.
Yeah.
And one of them resulted in a sack where he had to punt it, but he had two really nice drives where he kind of just marched down the field. And I thought one of the biggest plays was that pass interference at the end of the first half. That was huge on the 3rd and 19.
The offensive pass interference.
Yeah. No, the defensive pass interference on LSU's receiver. It was on 3rd and 19, I believe.
Okay. And
the offensive pass interference was T. Higgins. Yeah, that was big. It was 42-25 at that point.
Yeah.
So maybe they creep within 10 there. But, he wasn't. I mean, they were all tight throws. Those DBs for LSU were all over the Clemson receivers.
Yeah. Look, he's going to be the number 1 pick next year. He's got the prototypical size, and I was blown away still by that run in the previous game. Like, I didn't know he had those type of legs.
Yeah, he can run.
Both those guys could.
Both of them can run.
I was shocked at how athletic Burrow was. Not when you knew his family history. His mom, I think they said, scored 82 points in one game in school, in college, in basketball.
Yeah, and I think, Pete came in here before just to correct myself. And Eric heard the same thing. I said that Joe Burrow, it's amazing, he was a 2-star.
They meant to say 2 sports star.
And
no, he was a 3 or 4 star.
He was apparently a 4-star, according to Pete.
Yeah.
But there was one, but they
I
did
think
mention
they did say on the broadcast that he was a 2-star.
I think they did. They meant to say 2 sport.
Yeah,
but they also mentioned that he wasn't recruited by Nebraska, right? Was where his dad played, dad and brother, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously recruited by Ohio State and a bunch of other big schools. So they were kind of low. They were lowballing him a little bit.
Think of how crazy it is. He entered the season like I keep mentioning this college fantasy draft. He wasn't drafted. Cakes, you're in this college. He wasn't even drafted.
Well, the numbers were nondescript last year.
He was an afterthought.
He was drafted. I guess they brought in Brady as their passing coordinator to work alongside their offense coordinator. They completely changed their offense. He went from what they said was going to be maybe a 4th-round pick to the top pick.
If I were
in the NFL
LSU,
draft.
I would be sprinting to Joe Brady's office to give him the biggest raise I'm allowed to give him, to keep him there as long as I can.
Yeah.
He's not long for being an offensive coordinator or passing game coordinator at LSU.
Didn't I hear Matt Rule was open to hiring him as the OC? In
Right.
Carolina?
His name has been bandied
He's
about.
going to be in high demand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to turn around an offense like that, just completely change it in 1 year, is crazy. And to get those kind of results.
Yeah,
because LSU was always known for having great athletes and being super competitive, but they couldn't score.
But playing tough defense and being always a run-first team. Just look at the backs that have come through there in recent years. Fournette, Geis, Kevin Falk, guys like that.
And you kind of saw what Tua did for Alabama, because once Tua got there, and Hurts was more of a running quarterback.
Right.
He could throw it a little bit, but he wasn't as accurate as Tua. But then once Tua got in there, Saban said,
Let's open it up.
We got these stud receivers that are 5 stars. Let's use them. And if you have 3 or 4 of them, it's going to be tough to stop. And LSU did the same thing this year. Brady came in and just spread everything out. They have a legit back, so they got good balance, but they got a great quarterback. You got to score points. So you wonder if teams are going to look at it like the Georges of the world and say, all right, we got to change what we do. We can't just run.
Oh, yeah.
And hope that we limit teams to
They'll
14
adapt.
points.
They have to. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to get they're going to be underneath the wheels of teams like Alabama and LSU.
Last night was, I know they got off to a slow start in the first couple possessions, but man, they outscored Clemson 38-7 after that 17-7 lead, and they were unstoppable. Couldn't stop them.
Took them a quarter or so to figure it out. Once they did.
Burrow said after the game, I just saw a quote that he still didn't know where the blitzes were coming from. But just when he got the protection,
they handled it.
He took deep shots. That's the thing. I was most impressed by the deep shots being right on the money to Chase.
Yeah. Very accurate.
Well, I mean, he completed 80% of his passes this year. He was just incredible. It's the best season you'll ever see. I don't think you'll see a season like that again.
Yeah, like
60
I said,
touchdowns.
The statistics which I saw on Larry Brown Sports this morning was last 5 games, 3 against top 5 teams. So against the best competition, 22 touchdowns, no picks. He threw for an average of 394 yards per game. Also had 2 rushing touchdowns and 155 yards rushing. That's just absurd.
I'm sure that Cincinnati won't do it because they're cheap, but I would see whatever, if Carolina's going to hire Brady, I would say we'll double whatever they're going to give you so you have the smooth transition so you can coach him not only in college but in the pros too.
Isn't their head coach, though, an offensive guy?
I wouldn't care. If I was Zach Taylor, I would say, well, I'll bring him on.
Right.
You know what? He can be my offensive coordinator. I'm fine. You know what? He needs the help. Look at what he did in his first season.
Definitely needs the help.
I don't know that he has enough leverage to say, who comes in and who doesn't on his staff at this point.
By the way, did A.J. Green
Didn't play.
miss the entire year?
Yeah.
Entire year.
Yeah, so his stock's going to be up with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and so's Boyd's. Boyd will be their number one. He had such a good year. I just looked at the potential of pros that were on that field last night. I mean, obviously Lawrence and Burrow are pros. They're number one picks. But Etienne's a pro. Hilaire's a pro. All the receivers
Chase
from
and
LSU.
Jefferson.
Yeah, so is Marshall. Ross is a pro. Higgins is a pro. I think that Galloway kid's going to be legit for Clemson.
Probably every starting defensive lineman for Clemson is a pro.
I mean, Simmons, pro.
Yeah.
He's a first-round pick. All the DBs for LSU, they're all going to be pros. I mean, it's just
Stingley.
It was an NFL game.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Delpit? He's like a top 5 or top 7 type
Fulton,
pick.
Delpit, Stingley, all those guys. Wallace. I mean, they're just just pros everywhere.
It's going to be different next year. Just a little side topic, right? Because CBS doesn't have the SEC anymore, right? I can't remember. Does ESPN have it now?
Did that
so.
start?
Oh,
I thought that might have started in 2 years.
oh, you might be right.
Let me see. Let me check that out.
CBS TV package.
After the 2023 season.
Yeah.
Oh, after 23.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so
a
a
couple
few
more.
more
We got a
years.
couple more years. All
Yeah,
right.
you got
That's
a
going to
ways.
throw me.
You got a ways to go on that.
That's going to throw
You
me.
just hope you're alive in 2023.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's the
you-
key,
I don't
baby.
take that for granted.
Did you watch any of the other coverages? They have so many.
No.
I watched
just the
a
main.
little of Coach's film room, but it gets a little annoying. It's very interesting. It's just that you don't get the full screen because they're watching like a screen and they have different screens.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to hear them just talk about like setup. Shocker, EB had a major spill again on his
Well, I
computer.
might have just felt it in my computer because I got the water on it.
Oh, really?
That pissed me off.
That sucks. I watched a little bit of that before pregame.
Okay.
Like 4:30 or 5, and they were just kind of breaking down film from the team's previous games and the playoff games. But I didn't watch it live.
Maybe I'm a dinosaur. Just give me the regular call.
I mostly
I
watched
don't
the
need
regular
8
call.
different setups.
Curious. So one of them is like sideline guys like Pat McAfee
Yeah.
and I forget who else was there on the sideline. And then they have the coach's film room, which you had Gundy.
Yeah.
It just becomes too distracting. I just want to watch the game. You know what I mean? I mean, those guys are good. Sometimes I've watched it with the coaches. Who were the coaches that they had?
Gundy and Halfley.
Gundy was the big one last night.
Yeah.
Halfley's the guy from Ohio State who got
Derek
the BC,
Mason was one of
BC
the guys
job.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I watched it on DVR, so I obviously didn't watch that because I wasn't switching channels.
Yeah. No, I just watched the regular.
But my
Perfectly fine
thoughts
with that.
were with Burrow finishing just an unbelievable year, winning the Heisman, undefeated, national championship. The Redskins are one pick away, EB. One pick away.
Well, look,
They have the number 2 pick.
right. Well, Chase Young is supposed to be that once in a generation type player too. So, if they stick with the number 2 pick and select him,
I'm still going to worry, though, about Burrow. I'm still going to worry he might be a system guy. That it could just all
we'll
come
see.
What
unraveled
does
in
he lack?
Cincinnati.
Well,
like when you
we'll
look
see.
at him, what does he lack? He's got the size. He's got the arm strength.
He seems to be
He's
the
got the
complete
touch. He's got
package.
the accuracy. He just wasn't utilized
He's got
right
it all.
last year.
He's
Yeah,
got
I
it
think
all.
he's got it all.
Yeah.
I agree
but
with
again, you don't. But you
I would
don't
be
know.
worried about the system thing.
I'm gonna worry a
He's
little
not
bit.
going to throw 60 touchdowns next
No,
year.
of course not.
I
but
would
he's
be
gonna be
worried a
fine.
little bit just because he wasn't that highly regarded just a year ago.
I know that's the
And,
difference in Joe Brady coming
sometimes
in.
these guys in certain
But
systems
yeah, I
and
think
certain
that's
offenses
system.
thrive, and then it doesn't necessarily translate to the next level.